Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let's have a conversation. Why do we stay broke? Well, there are many reasons that we stay broke. We buy more than what we need, and we buy more than what we can afford. Um, we usually don't need another outfit, another dress, new jewelry, but for some reason, we feel that we need to keep up with the Joneses. We got to be the fashion icon. Well, is it really helping our bottom line? We have to think more strategically. Rich people do the opposite of what poor people do. They're usually not flashy. They spend less and save more. And we do the opposite. We spend more and save less. But then we wonder, why do we stay broke? So oftentimes we spend a lot of money doing things or engaging in things that's not going to prosper us, such as eating out. And I eat out. I like to eat out. However, I do have to curb that desire because first of all it's not that healthy for us. We can get a much more healthier meal at home and it will be less expensive, and we'll be able to go back for seconds or thirds or whatever, or even maybe have some for the next day. But when we eat out, oftentimes we need to go back the next day and eat out again. um we sometimes we're spending money on using subprime lenders. So we're borrowing money or using money with high interest rates. um some of us even do rent to own um appliances, at the buy here, pay here type places. And those interest rates are extremely high. And what we have to stop and think, because accumulating wealth, and we're not just accumulating wealth just to accumulate it, but we're doing it for our families. We want to leave a legacy for our children and our grandchildren. But we have to think. So if we're paying, uh, say, $40 a week for television, we need to add that up. Because that's about, what, $160 a month, I believe. So, but if you don't think like that, then you don't think like that. So you think, oh, $40 a month is not that bad. I'll just pay that. But when you think about you're paying almost $200 every single month for that television that you're renting to own, from these buy here, pay here places, then you're paying way too much. Because if you just saved some money, you'll be able to pay for that television in a couple of months and have it paid for. Um, Also, we have to think about some of the other things that we're doing that we just don't think about, like different subscriptions. We have the Netflix and we have the, satellite on different stuff, and just so many different subscriptions that we're paying for that we don't usually, well, we don't just naturally think about it, We have to be in a mindset where we're actually looking to see what our finances are doing. And what we need to know and understand is that we need to be in control of our finances and not our finances being in control of us. And what I mean by that is, if you got, for example's sake, $200, you need to tell that $200 where to go. You should already have it allocated as to where every penny goes before it just slips out of your hand and you look around and say, I don't know where my money went. All of my money is gone. And of course, we're, dealing with more than $200, but that's for example's sake, okay? So we never think about, when we are investing, and that's exactly what it is, we're investing in things that have no return, but what we're doing, we're helping others get rich and stay rich while we continue to be poor. If we're always in their stores purchasing their stuff, they're getting richer. But guess who's getting poor? Because now we have all this stuff that really has no value. We couldn't even sell it in the marketplace to get our money back. If we wanted to sell it on, have a garage sale or something, you're definitely getting pennies on the dollar. So we need to save more. We need to save more. Some people call it paying yourself first. So when we get paid, we need to put aside at least 10% for savings. Once we get our savings goal up to where it should be, 3 to 6 months worth of savings, which is, we can call it our emergency fund. We don't need to quit saving. Then what we need to do is start investing. And we'll talk more about investments later, but right now we're going to stick to talking about just saving, getting ourselves in a position where we don't always have to use the high interest rates. And once we get our credit to a good standard, in the 700s at least. We don't want to be in the 600s. We can be anywhere from 720 to 850, and we'll be good. Once we get in the 800s, we're excellent, okay? But I've not seen very much difference in, I'll say, 760 and 850. Because usually if you got 760, you're not going to be turned down and you're going to get good interest rates. And I will say that credit scores, they do fluctuate. And the reason being, just say if you have a 850 and you go out and you purchase a car, well, then your debt to income ratio is going to go down just a little. Plus, you're going to have an inquiry, 1 or 2, however many on your credit score. But that's okay, because the inquiries only last for 2 years. And, you would have gotten something that you need. If you needed a vehicle and you were able to get it, then that's okay. That's just the game we have to play, because every time we apply for something, there's an inquiry. There's also something called a soft inquiry, which will not hurt our credit scores. But if we're getting the thing or purchasing something, usually we will incur the hard inquiry. So that's okay, because we're monitoring our credit, and and we're making sure that we're not credit seeking at all these different institutions and just getting tons of inquiries. And what I mean by tons, I actually mean 5, 6. That's not gonna look good on our credit score. So we talked about, let's start getting our emergency fund together, 3 to 6 months worth of savings. And we can do that by just putting away maybe 10% of our earnings. And and I'm not saying take away from your tithe and offerings, because I do believe in tithing and offerings. But let's be responsible with our finances. For God's sake, for my people perish for the lack of knowledge. So let's be adults and not children with our finances. Be blessed.